All right, a massive hello to all you bright sparks over at Kent Business College. Look, today we're going to get our hands on a tool that's, well, it's so simple, but it's so powerful. It can literally stop a project from just completely descending into utter madness. So, yeah, let's dive right in. You know the feeling, right? You're full of beans, total optimism. Maybe you're trying to build some of that flat pack furniture. The instructions, they look simple enough, don't they? But then, an hour later, you're just sitting there, surrounded by this sea of screws, all these mysterious wooden bits, and you've somehow built something that looks less like a bookshelf and more like some sort of, I don't know, modern art piece for a very, very wobbly giraffe. Exactly that. A complete and total dog's dinner. And look, that's what happens, isn't it? We jump straight into the doing without actually understanding the whole picture first. We miss steps, we grab the wrong parts, and we end up with something that it just doesn't work. And in the world of project management, that wobbly shelf, that can cost thousands, millions even. But what if you had a blueprint? A simple one-page guide that laid it all out, showed you everything you needed, who was involved, and what you were actually meant to be producing, all before you even picked up a single tool. Well, my friends, that is exactly what SIPOC is.
Okay, so let's break this down. SIPOC. It's an acronym, right? It stands for suppliers, inputs, process, outputs, and customers. The easiest way to think of it is like a super high-level map of your entire process. It's like looking at the whole journey on Google Maps before you dive into the nitty-gritty turn-by-turn directions. It just shows you the whole shebang, the value chain from the very start to the very end.
Now, this is absolutely crucial to get your head around. A SIPOC is not a detailed flowchart. It's not. Think of the SIPOC as that bird's eye view. It answers the big question, right, what process are we even talking about here? The flowchart, well, that's the nitty-gritty, the step-by-step instructions. You have to get the big picture first, and that is SIPOC's job.
Okay, theory's all well and good, but let's make this real, shall we? The best way to actually understand SIPOC is just to build one. So come on, let's go on a quick guided tour. We'll use a proper classic project management scenario. Okay, so picture this. You're running a project, everything's going swimmingly, and then the client suddenly wants to change something. It happens all the time, believe me. And without a clear process, this is where the chaos begins. So let's take our shiny new SIPOC blueprint and apply it to this exact situation.
Right, let's have a look at this together. We're going to walk through it column by column. So on the far left, let's start there. Who's giving us the stuff we need to even start? Yep, those are our suppliers. In this case, we've got the project team, the client, finance, okay? So next question, what are they actually giving us? Let's slide over to the next column. Those are the inputs. We're talking about the change request form itself, data for the impact analysis, cost estimates. Makes sense, right? Now, for the process. And remember, the golden rule, keep it high level. We're not getting bogged down. Just a few major steps. Log the request, analyze the impact, review and decide, and then communicate the outcome. Simple. And from that process, what do we get? What's produced? Those are our outputs. Take a look. An approved or rejected change, updated project plans, a proper record of the decision. And then finally, the big one. Who actually gets these outputs? Who are we doing this for? There are customers. In this case, the sponsor, the project manager, the PMO, the team. See that? In one go, the entire universe of that process, clear as day, right there on one table. Brilliant.
So just to really hammer this home, suppliers, who provides it? Inputs, what you need. Process, the how, but high level. Remember, outputs, what you get. And customers, who it's for. It's a perfect illustration of how every single piece connects to the next.
Okay, fine. We can draw a nice little map. Big deal, right? So what? Well, this is where SIPOC really earns its keep. This is the good stuff. Because it's not just a planning tool, it's a quality management weapon. Its real power is in helping you spot trouble long before it ever has a chance to happen.
And honestly, this right here is the golden formula, especially for your exams, so listen up. The SIPOC gives you the map of the territory, and the flowchart, that gives you the route. You put them together, and you have an incredibly strong foundation for planning out your quality management. You gotta remember that.
But that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How on earth does a simple map stop a project from turning into that wobbly shelf we were talking about? I mean, it seems a bit too simple to be true, doesn't it? But the magic is in what it forces you to see.
It works by making something called the cost of quality completely visible. And what's that? Well, the cost of quality is basically all the money you're spending because you're not doing things right the first time. It's the cost of rework, of fixing mistakes, of dealing with unhappy customers. And what SIPOC does is it shines a massive, massive spotlight right on where those costs are hiding. And these costs, they basically break down into 4 types. You've got prevention costs, the money you spend to stop problems from happening in the first place. Good. Then you've got appraisal costs, the money you spend checking for them. Okay. But then you get the bad ones. Internal failure, the cost of mistakes you find yourselves. And then the worst of the worst, external failure, the cost of mistakes your customer finds. Ouch! SIPOC helps you focus on the good stuff, on prevention, so you can slash those nasty failure costs.
So how does it actually do it? Well, by looking at your SIPOC map, you can start asking some really crucial questions. Like, hang on, where could we get a really rubbish input from one of our suppliers? Or what about the handoff between step 2 and step 3 of our process? Is that smooth, or is that where things always seem to go wrong? See? It forces you to see the weak points, to spot the potential for rework, and to know exactly where you need to stick a quality check in place.
So look, as you start to move from the classroom and into the boardroom, I want you to think of SIPOC as your new secret weapon. Honestly, it's that tool you can pull out right at the start of a meeting that will bring instant clarity and, let's be honest, make you look like an absolute genius.
Right then, here it is, your cheat sheet. Go on, screen grab this, write it down, get it tattooed on your arm, whatever works for you. For your exams, if you see phrases like high-level process or end-to-end view, I want your brain to just scream SIPOC. Just remember, its job is to clarify things early on, and it's your absolute best starting point for any kind of analysis on the cost of quality. Got it? And really, that's it. That's the whole story. Before you get lost in all the tiny details, before you end up with that wobbly bookshelf and a pile of leftover screws, you use SIPOC. It is your blueprint for clarity. It's what turns a potential dog's dinner into a Michelin-starred success.
So, I'm going to leave you with this thought. Have a think about it, your revision plan, maybe a group project you're on right now, or heck, even just planning a night out with your mates. What wobbly process in your life could do with a quick SIPOC to start it all out? Go on, give it a try. I think you might be surprised. Cheers for tuning in.